The night had begun like any other house party. Music low at first, then swelling as more people arrived. Glasses clinked, voices rose, and laughter spilled through the open patio doors. In the center of all of it was Maya, trying her best to pretend she was having fun. She wasn't much of a party person, but she had come for one reason: her fiancé, Ethan, loved nights like this. And she loved him. Ethan wasn't beside her, though. He was helping the host bring in extra drinks, drifting from room to room with a smile that everyone trusted. Maya watched him from across the room with quiet admiration. He was steady, calm, patient, qualities she had leaned on so many times she'd lost count. But tonight wasn't about steadiness. It was about everything that threatened it. Before I tell you how I ended up making out with my fiancé's best friend at a party, and how everything in my life fell apart because of that one stupid moment, let me know where you're watching from in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe, and tell me if you've ever been in a situation where one impulsive decision changed everything. Ethan's best friend, Liam, entered the living room with the same reckless swagger he always had. He spotted Maya and cut through the crowd toward her like he'd been waiting for the moment. Liam was the opposite of Ethan: loud, impulsive, a little chaotic, but he had charm. He and Maya had never been close, but Ethan adored him, so she had always forced herself to tolerate his wildness. Liam sat beside her with a grin that already carried too much trouble. He nudged her shoulder. "You look like you're counting down the minutes." Maya forced a polite smile. "Just tired." "Tired?" he scoffed. "This party just started." Then, leaning closer, he lowered his voice. "Come on, Maya. Have some fun for once." Maya shifted uncomfortably, glancing around for Ethan. "I'm fine, Liam." "Really?" He smirked in a way that made her uneasy. "Then prove it. Let's play a game." Before she could respond, 3 of Liam's friends joined them with drinks in hand. Someone suggested party dares, something Maya wanted nothing to do with. But she didn't want to seem stiff or rude. Not when this was Ethan's circle. Not when everything she did around them somehow reflected back on him. The first few dares were harmless. Someone had to sing loudly off-key, another had to take an embarrassing selfie. Maya chuckled along, trying to blend in. But when it was her turn, Liam leaned in with way too much excitement. "All right, Maya, your dare is simple." He gestured to himself. "Kiss me." Maya froze. The group erupted with laughter, already amused by the scandal the dare suggested. Maya felt her throat tighten. "No," she said quietly. "Pick something else." Liam shook his head. "You can back out, but that's not very fun. And you looked like you needed loosening up." Maya felt a wave of irritation. She didn't want to kiss him. She didn't want to be part of this stupid game. But she also didn't want to be mocked for being uptight. And worst of all, she didn't want to cause a scene at a party Ethan had been looking forward to all week. Her heartbeat thudded painfully. "Just 1 second," she murmured. She pulled out her phone to message Ethan, but before she could type, Liam leaned forward with a smug grin. "Oh, come on. It's just a dare. Not like it means anything. Just a dare." 2 small words. 2 dangerous words. The group chanted her name, drunk on the thrill of peer pressure. Maya swallowed hard. She hated being watched. Hated being pushed. And in that moment, she made the worst split-second decision of her life. She leaned forward and kissed him. It was quick. Barely a second. Barely anything at all. But Liam pulled back with a triumphant smirk that made her stomach twist. His friends cheered. And Maya, heat crawling up her neck, wished she could undo the moment instantly. Before she could even process what she'd done, she heard a voice behind her. A voice she knew better than her own heartbeat. "Maya?" She turned around slowly, dread filling every limb. Ethan stood there, still holding the extra pack of drinks he'd gone to get. His expression was blank. Not angry. Not shocked. Just hollow. The room seemed to fall silent around them. The music felt distant. Maya shot to her feet. Ethan, it wasn't what it looked like. He didn't move. He didn't speak. He just stared at her like he was trying to convince himself he hadn't seen what he'd seen. Finally, after several seconds that felt like punishment, he asked the simplest question. "Why?" Maya shook her head desperately. It was just a dare. I didn't want to do it. They pushed me. I swear it meant nothing. Liam watched with uncomfortable guilt edging into his smirk, but Ethan didn't look at him. His eyes stayed on her. A dare. His voice cracked just slightly. So you kissed him because of a dare? Yes, Maya said quickly. I didn't think. I was stupid. Ethan, please. I love you. He finally set the drinks down slowly, as though they suddenly weighed too much to hold. You could have said no, he whispered. You always have a choice, Maya. She stepped closer, but he stepped back. In that step, she felt her world rupture. Ethan exhaled shakily. I trusted you. With everything. And you didn't even stop to think about me. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? His voice wasn't raised, but the quiet cut deeper than shouting ever could. You told me you hated drama, that you hated these kinds of games. And yet the moment I wasn't standing next to you, you let him kiss you. Maya shook her head violently. I didn't let him, Ethan, I swear. You kissed him. The words landed like stones. She felt tears forming as the room blurred. Ethan, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He swallowed. I don't know what to say to you right now. Then he walked past her. Just walked out the door. Maya chased after him, calling his name, but he didn't turn back. Not when he reached the driveway. Not when he opened his car door. Not when he started the engine. And not when he drove away, leaving her standing under the porch light, shaking, the sound of laughter from the party mocking her from inside. She stayed outside long after he was gone. The next morning, she went to his apartment. She knocked until her hand hurt, but he didn't answer. Hours later, she received a single message. I need time. Maya felt her chest collapse. She texted paragraphs, explanations, apologies, promises, but he didn't respond again. By the third day of silence, she finally understood the truth she had been avoiding. A single moment had shattered a relationship she thought was unbreakable. And just a dare was not enough to glue it back together. She spiraled for days. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. Every time she replayed that 1 second in her mind, she felt sick with regret. She knew how loyal Ethan was. How deeply he cared. How much he relied on trust in the people closest to him. And she had betrayed that trust in the most stupid, meaningless way possible. A moment she hadn't even wanted. A moment she could have prevented with a single word. A word she hadn't said. No. After a week, Ethan finally agreed to meet her. They sat on a park bench where they'd shared countless memories, coffee dates, late-night talks, dreaming about the future. But today, the bench felt cold and unfamiliar. Ethan looked exhausted, like sleep hadn't been his friend either. Maya's heart ached at the sight of him. I needed to talk to you in person, he said softly. Because you deserve that. And because I deserve closure. Her breath caught. Closure. He nodded slowly, hands clasped in his lap. I love you. I really do. But that night, something broke. Something I don't know how to fix. Maya swallowed hard, tears welling up again. Please don't give up on us. I made a mistake. A horrible one. But it meant nothing. Maybe it meant nothing to you, he said gently. But it meant something to me. You didn't protect what we had. Not when it mattered. Her voice trembled. I can do better. I can earn back your trust. He shook his head, eyes filled with sadness rather than anger. I don't want you to spend your life trying to make up for one mistake. And I don't want to spend mine wondering if you'll make another. Her tears finally fell. Ethan reached out and took her hand briefly, thumb brushing over her knuckles as though memorizing the shape of her. Then he let go. I'm ending the engagement. The words felt unreal. Like the world had tilted under her feet. No, she whispered. Ethan, please. But he stood up slowly. I hope you heal, Maya. And I hope you forgive yourself someday. But I can't be part of this anymore. She watched him walk away for the second time in a week. But this time, she knew he wasn't coming back. Maya stayed on that bench long after he disappeared from view. Long after her tears dried. Long after the sun began to set and shadows stretched across the park. In the months that followed, she grew quieter. More introspective. She pulled away from parties, from noise, from pressure. She learned the weight of choices, the importance of boundaries, and the painful truth that a single moment can cost a lifetime of love. Liam apologized once, months later, but Maya barely heard him. His guilt meant nothing compared to what she had lost. What mattered now was understanding herself, why she froze, why she folded under pressure, why she tried so hard to please people who didn't matter at the expense of the one who did. She never got her happy ending back. But she learned a lesson she would never forget. Some mistakes take only 1 second to make, but forever to live with. And when trust breaks, apologies are sometimes not enough to hold together the pieces. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and hit that subscribe button for more videos.